Hey everyone, my name is Kyana2. We're going to start the workshop in a few minutes and it's going to be awesome. We're going to let everybody join. So if you can, please wait just a few moments. In the meantime, let's get to know each other. Please use the chat box to say your name and where you're from. And I'll see you in a couple of minutes with our topic today. And I can see people already logging in. We have people joining us from all over the world and I love it. This is literally one of my favorite topics to talk about. And I love this about online trading and investing. And it's because that you can do it anytime and anywhere. And I can get to know so many people over the years. Literally, Invest Diva has students from over 175 countries, from the US to Australia to Dubai to Singapore, Japan, UK, South Africa, Cuba, Mexico, literally all over the world. And I'm happy to see that we have such an international crowd today too. The webinar will start in just a few moments as we close the doors. So go ahead, let me know where you're from, where you're most excited about, and your hopes. And I know that a lot of you guys are excited to learn about cryptocurrency. Some of you want to learn about Forex and investing in general, but from the emails that I got from you guys, it looks like that 95% of you want to learn how to make your money work for you. And guess what? That's exactly what I'm going to cover today, which is different than my usual strategy development webinars, by the way, or market updates. I'm not going to analyze the markets for you. Instead, I'm going to cover one of my most favorite topics in the world. And I'm super excited to show you guys. I'm going to show you the grand roadmap on how you can generate wealth yourself, no matter where you are financially and what your goals are. So keep in mind that this is not a strategy development session just for the current markets. It's a timeless masterclass that you can use now and for the years to come. If you're looking for my most recent trading signals and investment strategies, you can join me at my live strategy development sessions every week in the premium investing group. But this webinar that's going to start in 2 minutes, I'm going to show you how to make your money work for you rather than working your butt off for your money. Does that make sense? Okay, I see more people joining and everyone is excited to get started. I tell you what, so am I. I'm super excited to have you guys here and show you some of the weird stuff and the simple stuff that I can do to make your money work for you, and as well as my step-by-step guidelines to doing that. So with that, people, the workshop has officially started. I want to let you know that you're in the right spot. I'm about to show you how to get your money work for you without being glued to your screen all day, and even if you suck at math. Do you guys want to see that? All right, cool. But I want to note something very important here. This is a 2-hour commitment masterclass. I want you to commit to stay until the end of this 2-hour webinar, because if you can't commit to a 2-hour workshop, you're probably not ready to commit and making your money work for you. Those of you who are committed already, just type yes in the chat box. But I'm also going to bribe you with a whole bunch of cool stuff that you're going to get if you stay until the very end. So the first thing you're going to get if you stay until the end is my weird and simple investment portfolio that makes me $12,673 per month. You guys want to see that? The second thing is that if you stay until the very end, I will give you the slides of this webinar, so you don't have to take notes today, right now. You can just sit down and really focus on the mastermind. Plus, if you stay until the very end and ask me questions, I'll send you a risk management toolkit that is really going to help you with your investment strategy. Even if you're watching the replay video right now, we still have moderators in the room, whether it's me or my assistants. And we're going to see who stayed until the end. And we're going to see your questions. So make sure you stay and ask questions, and we will send you your risk management toolkit for free. Cool? So with that, go ahead and turn off your phone. I don't want you to be using your Facebook or Twitter and Instagram or Tinder, because I need your full attention. If you're not paying attention, none of this is going to work for you. For those of you who don't know me, you probably might be asking, okay, who the heck is Kyana and why should I listen to her? My name definitely sounds a little bit like Keanu Reeves, but I'm not him. And well, first of all, this is what I look like when I am wearing makeup. And if I'm not wearing makeup, I'm going to show you how I look like without makeup later on. And so I'm the CEO and founder of InvestDiva.com. I'm an adjunct professor at universities around the world. And I'm the lady behind investment strategies for companies like NASDAQ, News, BTC, Orbex, Crypto Briefing, Talk Markets, Equities.com, Investing.com, and so many more others. You probably have seen or heard me on media like CNN, Forbes, Time, Wall Street Journal, Fox. And I've also reported directly from New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. And I published a bunch of books. My first one was Invest Diva's Guide to Making Money in Forex, and I got Ichimoku Secrets. I got the second edition of the first one, and now I got Cryptocurrency Investing for Dummies. And I've also won a bunch of awards. The latest one is Personal Investment Expert of the year 2018, along with a bunch of other ones. People have said good things about me. Forbes has said Kyana has empowered and helped thousands of individual investors to grow their wealth by trading in the online markets. Dry Wealth has said Kyana is one of the top investors on the web, and so has so many other people. My students have said so many good things about me too that you can check them out online. And the reason why I'm telling you this is not for me to brag. The whole point I'm trying to make is that the tactics I'm going to show you today can teach you, number one, how to become a better investor, and B, if you implement them in your financial plan or your family's plan or your neighbor's plan, you should see results. And if you were thinking why I'm here today and why I'm doing this, well, there are multiple reasons. Number one, I don't want to see anyone stuck at their screen all day trying to make a quick buck and then losing all their money in the end. I don't want to see anyone in debt. I don't want to see any more lump sum money under the rug. I don't want to see you missing out on investment opportunity because you think you have to be a genius or math whiz in order to be a successful investor. And I don't want to see your money in the hands of the wrong money manager or the wrong financial planner who's not in it for you, but is in it for their sake of his or her commission. So imagine if you're not stuck to your screen all day and your money is working for you. Do you want to make money while you're sleeping? Yes, right? Imagine you have no more debt. Imagine your lump sum of money you inherited or you won on the lottery or that is in your saving account is now working for you, making you money. How cool is that? So that's the reason why I'm here today. And in today's agenda, at first I'm going to tell you how I discovered the recipe to making my money work for me. I'm going to tell you the definition of wealth. And I'm going to get to the 3 secrets to making your money work for you. And those 3 secrets, number 1 is how to make more in only 1 year by investing than you could in 5 years of working a 9-to-5 job. Secret number 2 is how to do this without being a math whiz or being stuck to your screen all day. And secret number 3 is how to start with only a small initial investment. I literally started with only $500. And I know a lot of you guys who are very interested in investing, who want to grow your wealth, but you think you have to be a millionaire to begin with. That is not the case. So I'm going to show you how exactly you can start with a small initial investment. Are you guys excited? Cool. So my promise today is that if you watch this whole webinar, you will get an understanding of how to make your money work for you without being stuck to your screen all the time. Whether it's through better investment choices or developing better strategies or just through better financial planning, you will gain an understanding of this topic. If you don't, email me at Kyana@investiva.com and I personally will help you for free. That's how confident I am that you're going to get value if you stay till the very end, because helping you to make your money work for you is my mission. In the past 7 years, I've helped thousands of people get their share of financial freedom through investing in the online markets. But today, I want to start by telling you a story about why I chose this path and what got me to want to make my money work for me so bad and got me results. The reason why I want to tell you the story is because the amount of wealth you're able to create has direct relationship with your belief system when it comes to money. Once you get your belief system right, that's when you're ready to accept the cash flow that's coming your way through investing. Does that make sense? So where did I come from? I was born and raised in Iran to a Jewish family in the midst of the Iran-Iraq War. My dad, who previously was a very successful engineer and CEO of a construction company, had lost everything to the new Iranian regime. When I was born, we were literally living undercover so that the new regime wouldn't kill my dad. And to top that off, we had no money. It was especially tough because my mom always has stories about the time when things were good and when they had a 24/7 personal driver and maids and chefs at home. But now she had to wait in line to get eggs and milk on food stamp. They smuggled my older brother out of Iran to go to the US on his own when he was 16. We didn't see him for the next 13 years, and my older sister would get teaching jobs here and there, and she would give her paychecks to my dad so that he can support us. And being the youngest, I felt I have nothing to offer to help my parents out at this misery, and I felt useless. Fast forward to when I was 18, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, and to distract me from this pain, she pushed me to apply for a scholarship to study electrical engineering in Japan. I applied and somehow I got the scholarship from the Japanese government. After learning Japanese for a year, they sent me to a college in the middle of nowhere in Japan when I was the only girl and the only foreigner in my class. And all the classes were taught in Japanese. I freaking hated it. I didn't understand anything and I sucked at everything, especially at all the math stuff. I was the daughter of a once successful engineer and everybody expected me to be good at math, but I simply wasn't. And on top of that, it was really intimidating to be the only girl in the class. While you might think I was getting hit on by my classmates, that definitely wasn't the case. I was viewed as the outsider from a third world country with no money who's feeding off their taxes they pay to their government. So they kind of hated me. And that was really hard because I really wanted to succeed in this, not only to make my parents proud, but also to help them financially and get them back to where they once were before the Iranian Revolution. And my older sister was really good at math, and whenever she made any money, she would help my parents out. So this made me feel like a failure as their daughter. Anyways, I somehow finally graduated with my first degree and through the tears, and I was actively looking for a way out of engineering. But in Japan, it's super hard to change majors. And I even got myself a gig on the Japanese TV show. And in fact, I can show you a clip of my show over there in case you might be wondering. Yes, I can speak Japanese, Nihongo pera pera desu. So here you are. Here's my clip on the Japanese show.
ないんです。だから私はまあ本当に
お金のためでしょ。
お金はすごく重要です。しかもちょうどイランの大統領選挙がやってるんですけれど、アメリカには今精子バンクを通じて生まれた子供が100万人以上もいます。大学の皆さん、学生に甘すぎます。学生の皆さん、もっと勉強しましょう。
安易に思わないよね。
ただ安心して生活できるっていうぐらいなんです。
相当な決心がいると思うから、
むしろ成功者より学ぶべきなんですよ。多分お金ないお金ないお金ない。だから反対なんです。以上が私の提言でした。
はい、ありがとうございました。
So yeah, that was my show, but that wasn't really making me much money, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do after graduating from my second degree. Then there came the year 2008. Do you guys remember what happened that year? Well, personally, I fell in love and my boyfriend cheated on me, but on an international level, we had a major, massive recession that started and the markets crashed. At the time, I had no idea about the economy and finance. I was still a college student, but all I could hear was that the US dollar, the USD, was getting cheaper and cheaper. And that's when I had an idea. Maybe if I can buy some US dollar at a cheap price and send it over to my parents, I could even keep it until it gets expensive and then exchange it back to the Japanese yen and make some money. So I had this idea. And with that, I started to go to the ATM machine every day and exchange some of my Japanese yen into the US dollar. But every time when I went back the next day, the US dollar was even cheaper than the day before. So I became addicted to going to the ATM every day and getting disappointed that I had exchanged my money too early the day before that. I kind of had a feeling that the US dollar is going to get even much cheaper than that, but I was getting tired of having to go to the ATM every day to find out. So I was thinking maybe I can write a coding program that would automatically execute my dollar yen exchange at the lowest price that it could reach, engineering mindset. And I was talking about this out of nowhere to my Japanese host family's mom, and she told me that this program has already been written, and it's called trading, right? So she hooked me up and opened an account for me at a broker called Hirosa FX, and I transferred $10,000 worth of Japanese yen to that broker in August 2008. So guess what happened? Within a month, I doubled my money. I made $10,000, and that obviously felt great and was enough for me to want to completely ditch my electrical engineering degree and get into finance. But of course, I had taken too much risk, and well, you shouldn't do that without supervision. Fast forward to this day, in the past years, I've made over 6 figures per year putting my money into work without doing any math or getting stuck behind my screen or having to fear about being the only woman doing this. Now, before I get too far into this is my cartoon lawyer, and he made me say a couple of things. First thing is that by watching this presentation, you're not going to make $12,673 per month. I promise you that. That was the result from one investment portfolio that we have, and I'm going to show you how it works exactly, which is kind of cool, but it doesn't mean that that's what you're going to make. I personally now have 9 different investment accounts, each making $20 to $12,673 per month, and my portfolio is diverse. So I can manage my risk properly during different market situations. I invest in a mix of stocks, forex, cryptocurrencies, and ETFs, and these are all cool things. And throughout my trading years, I've obviously done a bunch of things right, for sure, but it wasn't always like that. While I've done a ton of things right, I've also done a bunch of things wrong. So let's go back to my time in Japan after I doubled my money trading the market crash. I really wanted to start investing then, but I was scared. I had no idea where to begin. I was fearful that I didn't have the skills to invest on my own. And I had no clue about financial markets, and I literally sucked at math. That's why when I was approached by a money manager to invest my money for me on my behalf, I didn't hesitate. The money management company's name is Friends Provident, and they are located in the Isle of Man in the UK. They look pretty legit online. So my quote-unquote personal money management agent, Tim, ensured me that I can have 100% access to all the investments, and I can withdraw the investments at any time, whenever I want. Long story short, over 12 monthly payments, he took $50,000 from me and ran away with it. To this day, I still haven't been able to get my hands on that money, even though at times I really, really needed it. So this was the final straw, and this experience really made me to take things into my own hands and manage my own money. And that is why I decided to come to New York and work at the heart of global finance. Can you guess where? Wall Street, baby! So at this time, I really believed there is money to be made in this market. And even though scammers are all around, I was determined to figure out what's happening and find out that one recipe that makes the Warren Buffetts and the Guy Spires of the investment world. I worked at 3 different financial companies, including the back end and front end of big brokers. And that's when I found out all about the shady stuff that is going down and how often the retail traders fall victim. For example, in the case of forex brokers, oftentimes they make money when the traders lose. Another thing that I noticed was that around 90% of the traders were men, and there was a huge absence of female traders. So I was looking at all the traders losing money and almost 0 women in the crowd when I had my aha moment. So I thought maybe if we do this differently and put quality education out there and tell people the truth about how Wall Street works, then fewer people will struggle financially, more women will become interested, and we can change the world, you know? So I got super excited, and I came up with all these cool ideas to help transform Wall Street. And I went ahead and I pitched this idea to the head boss of my division, wishful thinking. So imagine this geeky new girl with all these ideas freaking out in front of the big Wall Street boss. And guess what happened after I pitched these to him? Well, the first thing he did was to email my direct boss saying Kyana is not an analyst and she never will be, which my direct boss forwarded to me. And 2 weeks later, I got fired. Yep, they fired me. But guess what? That fired me up. I decided to make my idea a reality on my own. I wasn't going to get sucked into that corporate finance anymore. I rejected 2 job offers from Japanese banks on Wall Street, including Mizuho and Mitsubishi UFJ. And I founded Diva at midnight of January 1st, 2012 to spread the truth about trading and also to empower more women to join the trading crowd. I didn't go partying and watch the New Year ball drop that night. I sat down and planned it out, and it wasn't easy. The first thing I did was to surround myself with investment education and really dive in headfirst. So I literally bought and studied everything and anything there was out there about finance, trading, and investing. I studied for Chartered Market Technician degree, CMT, Certified Financial Planning, CFP, CFA, Online Trading Academy. I took courses online. I took courses in person, flew to different countries and attended seminars and webinars, and everybody has something to say. And most of the times they do try to make finance and investing so damn hard. So they come off as geniuses and you feel dumb. I was sure there must be a better way. And as I started putting my knowledge into work by investing and making money, I realized it really isn't that hard. Once you get it, you're set for life. It's kind of like riding a bicycle. But because so many people get too intimidated by the content, they don't fully commit and miss out on the opportunities that are waiting for them. And that's why I decided to create something that anyone, even high school students, can learn and apply. And now my Invest Diva students range from anywhere from high school kids to retired veterans, which is pretty awesome. So now here, I'm going to take all I learned the hard way and show you the easy way. Can you guys imagine waking up in the mornings, checking your portfolios and seeing your profit targets have come through while you were sleeping? Like you didn't even have to do anything. You made money in your sleep. Can you imagine how awesome those mornings will be? Or if you're stressed at work, you check your phone and you see your money is working for you. So at least you are your money's boss. Wouldn't that be awesome? I know some of you might still think you must be a rocket scientist to do this. So let me give you a real life example. This is my husband, Matt. He's an actual rocket scientist, and he literally is a genius. He designed the world's fastest helicopter, the Sikorsky's X-2, and now works super hard and ultra long hours at Lockheed Martin. But guess what? I make more money than Matt. I even made more money when I was on maternity leave after I gave birth to our daughter. A lot of people believe that you'll only become wealthy if you work really, really hard. And while working really, really hard will bring you a ton of money, that doesn't necessarily mean that you will become wealthy. Let me give you an example. On the left here, we have Ariana Grande. Incredibly talented and beautiful voice, multiple award winning with a ton of touring. And on the right here, we have Jessica Simpson, who popped up to fame in the 90s, but now she's no longer really singing. Now I have a question for you. Which one of these singers do you think is rich? And which one do you think is wealthy? Go ahead and write your answers in the comments. And I know that some of you might have guessed and thought that Ariana is wealthy because she's one of the most influential people in the world. Her net worth is around $40 million, which is pretty awesome. But how about Jessica? Her net worth is $170 million and growing without her having to sing or tour at all. Which one is wealthy? It's Jessica. She is wealthy not only because she's got more money, but because she's not really even an active singer anymore. But her money keeps growing. How? For starters, she invested the money she earned during her active singing years in a fashion company that keeps on growing and keep on making her more and more money without her doing anything. And on top of that, she's got a bunch of Christmas songs that are a gift that keeps on giving, which also continue making her money without her having to do anything. And if you catch Jessica at any given day, she's probably just chilling by the pool. So she literally has got her money by the horns and has got it to make her more and more money. She'll probably continue making money even after she's dead. But right now, Ariana needs to actively post on Instagram and go on tours and work on new songs and albums to make more money. And that's why she is rich, but not wealthy. So that's precisely the definition of wealth. Wealthy people, they have their money work for them. If you're rich, you work hard for your money, but you're chasing it. You are putting in hours to make that money. And if you're poor, of course, you're either gambling or day trading or praying that you get by. This is changing how you think about creation of wealth, right? So now that I've clarified this, can you guys imagine what's it going to be like someday that you wake up in the morning and check your bank account and see overnight you made your first $1,000 literally without having done anything other than sleeping? So do you guys want to know the easy way to do this without being stuck to your screen all day? Just imagine a month from now, what would you do with your life if you can achieve that? What's your life going to be like? What's your family's going to say? What's your spouse going to say when they realize that you're making more money than they do? Or if you can help them do the same thing so you can all make more money. I've done this a bunch of times and I normally get a lot of answers like, I'll be by the beach and I'll be sitting on the couch, binge watching Netflix, or I'll travel the world. And all of these things are pretty exciting, don't you think? So with that, let's get to the secret number one, how to make more in only 1 year by investing than you could in 5 years of working a 9-to-5 job. Let's talk about a goal of making $1 million per year. So if your goal is to make $1 million per year, if you're working a 9-to-5 job, you've got to be a VP at a tech company like Google with 15 years of experience at least, or you've got to be a 14-year-old genius. You've got to work your butt off over time. And even then, most of the income is normally from the stocks that you get from that company. There are time restrictions and penalty fees involved with accessing the 401k or employer stock rewards. And 86% of managed funds underperform market average. That is legit research from Online Market Academy. And even my husband, Matt, his only claim to real money is a Lockheed Martin stocks that he finally got when he became a director. And he can cash those every 3 years. So 3 years from now, he's probably going to be where he finally starts matching my growth of wealth. But at the end of the day, you're going to be looking like this, right? Because you're working your butt off. So now what's the problem with trading signals of your average investing guru? The majority of investing gurus create one-size-fits-all trading signals, which is one of the fastest ways to lose your money. You are different than that guru, and everybody else in that group is different from one another. Your money mentality, your financial history, your current financial situation, your risk appetite, your risk tolerance, your financial goals, and your timeline of needing to achieve those goals are all different. There is nobody else like you, and that is basically the reason why nobody can take care of your money better than you do. By understanding the fundamentals of financial planning and calculating your own risk tolerance, you will be able to create an investment strategy that is just for you and your family. And then you'll be able to choose the right assets to invest in, which would outperform any other managed fund. So let me give you an example. For example, if you bought 1,000 shares of Netflix back in 2013 when it was only $14, 5 years later in 2018, you'd make 2,684% profit. What does that mean? That means $382,000 pure profit. If you deduct commission fees on your initial investment, that is your pure profit that you get only by investing in one stock. Another example, if you had bought 1,000 shares of NVIDIA in 2015 when it was only $19, you'd made 1,364% profit. What does that mean? That means $261,000 pure profit. And of course, both Netflix and NVIDIA were on my top 12 must-have list during that time. Now you want to know something cool? If you get yourself 10 capital gain stocks like this, you'll easily reach your 1 million goal, right? So here I normally get a question. The markets don't always go up, and there's a cyclic pattern to the stock market that brings the market crashing down every 6 to 8 years. So here's a big secret. When the markets are down, it's actually the best time to buy, but there is a catch. Only those who know what they're doing can take advantage of that. I made my first ever money in trading when the markets were crashing in 2008. Remember? So whenever one market is doing poorly, there's always a yin to its yang that can make you money. If the crypto market is crashing, you can go and invest in stocks. If the stocks are crashing, you can invest in Forex or gold or precious metals. But you've got to know where to look at, right? And that's why I'm here to guide you and make things super easy for you. Another piece of this puzzle to making your $1 million per year goal is dividends. Dividend is a quarterly payment some companies pay to investors. Stock dividends tend to grow over time. More importantly, that dividend growth has historically outpaced inflation. So for example, if you buy 1,000 shares of a stock that isn't projected to go up in price, but pay $7 dividend per share per quarter, in 1 year, you can make $28,000 on dividends alone. In 5 years, that's $140,000. And the same goes with crypto and Forex. If you bought $100 worth of Bitcoin in 2013, in 2017, you would have made $6 million. And Bitcoin wasn't even the best performing crypto. Others like Ripple showed even a crazier return before the markets came crashing down in 2018. But once the bubble burst, only those who know what they're doing make money. And yes, you can incorporate similar things like dividends in Forex and cryptocurrency as well. And it's super easy. And we've been doing it over and over again. Every night I actually make money from my overnight holdings in Forex that a lot of people really get surprised. And as long as you have the right tools, you can do that. Once you get yourself set up with the basic knowledge, you're literally set for life and can make your money work for you over and over and over again for the rest of your life. So here's the 4 steps you need to take to get there. So step number 1 is to create a written investment policy statement with your risk tolerance derived from the questionnaire that you're going to fill out at the end of this webinar, which will eventually help you build your own investment strategy. Step number 2 is examining the external environment, focusing on expected short-term and medium-term economic, legal, political, social, and tax conditions. Step number 3 is selecting that winning portfolio based on your research that you did in step number 2. And step number 4 is to periodically monitoring, updating, and evaluating investment performance together with your financial advisor or your coach. These steps work for all assets, including stocks, crypto, forex, and ETFs. But what will take you one step further to get from making $20 per month to $12,670 per month, that is summarized in my award-winning signature strategy development method, which is called the IDDA, or Invest Diva Diamond Analysis, which is basically putting this whole concept in one unforgettable, solid strategy. The IDDA looks at 5 different points to create sustainable and customized investment strategies for everybody. The points include fundamental analysis, technical analysis, market sentiment analysis, capital analysis, and overall analysis. And then it bundles them all together in one nice diamond strategy for you. IDDA is slightly different when it comes to stocks compared to that of Forex or cryptocurrencies, and I talk about the differences in depth in the Make Your Money Work For You Power course. But for now, let me show you an example of fundamental analysis when it comes to stocks. So when you're doing fundamental analysis for stocks, there's something called a business cycle that impacts the market price every 6 to 10 years. At the valley here, you'll see lowest interest rates, lowest GDP, highest unemployment rate, and lowest inflation. Then at the peak, you'll see the highest interest rates, highest GDP, lowest unemployment, highest inflation. And before investing, you need to understand which phase the economy is and adjust your investment strategy. But because the economic cycle can take anywhere between 5 to 8 years, you don't have to stick to your screen all the time in order to make that your money work for you during that phase. You have to do this analysis once every few years and just adjust it accordingly. So with that, here's a tweetable for you. The economic cycle takes anywhere between 5 to 8 years. You don't have to be stuck to a computer all the time in order to make your money work for you during that phase. So what was the next step? The next step was selecting assets that best match your investment policy. Depending on your risk tolerance and financial goals, you can create a diversified portfolio, including securities such as stocks, crypto, futures, ETFs, fixed income, options, real estate, and Forex. And then again, within this, you'd have to select the right type of strategy for you. So again, let's pick stocks, for example. You can just say, okay, stocks are less risky than Forex, so I'm going to invest in them. The next question will be, what type of stock will you choose? So we have a ton of different stocks. We have blue chip stocks, we got income stocks, we got growth stocks, tech stocks, and a lot more. And so don't worry about this. I'm going to send you the slides at the end of the webinar so you can go back and read through all the definitions of these type of different stocks. But the bottom line is that the percentage you allocate to each investing asset in your portfolio depends on your risk tolerance, financial goals, economic cycle, and your own personal life phase. And with that, now you can see that by following these steps, you can gradually grow your wealth and potentially even make more than what you make in your day job, or add a nice additional revenue stream that you can use for taking vacations or building a movie theater in your house or getting a jacuzzi. That's actually what I do. Whenever I get a surplus on my investment, that's when I give my husband thumbs up to go and buy himself a toy, like a new car or a gaming computer or an indoor pool. And he sure loves fancy stuff a lot more than I do. So once you've got this set up, your money will literally grow on its own without the need of your constant management. After we've gone through the 3 secrets, I'm going to show you exactly how I made $12,670 in 1 month while I was vacationing. But for now, let's get to secret number 2. Secret number 2 is that I don't have to be stuck to my screen and analyzing the markets all the time. And that is a big plus because I personally rather be napping instead. I love napping, you guys. I have to get 8 hours of sleep, and I also need to take a nap in the middle of the day. That's just how I am. And even when I was working on Wall Street, I have found a spot on the roof, and I'm not kidding, where I would go and take a nap, weather permitting. And in the winter, it was much tougher and I was always tired. So now that I'm my own boss, it is obviously much easier for me to take my afternoon naps during the day whenever my daughter takes a nap, right? This is me and Jasmine taking that together. You know what? There are so many reasons why most people like me shouldn't be stuck to their screens. First of all, it's not good for your overall health. It's not good for your eyes. It's not good for your overall happiness in life. Day trading the markets brings out the worst emotions of fear and greed in people. You may end up losing all of your money. And worst of all, your family and friends will yell at you, right? So you might be asking, how do you do that even if you suck at math? So that one, my friends, is a 3-step process. Step number 1 is that you need to set your financial goals. I want to ask you a question. Would you take a long road trip without a map or a direction? Nowadays, we have Google Maps everywhere, right? With a pilot. Fly a plane without reviewing the weather forecast or planning the route. Would a construction company build a house without a blueprint and planning? Would a teacher conduct a course without a curriculum, a good teacher, right? Or would a rock band get on stage without a set? These are just a few examples, but we can all agree that in each of these examples, all these people, they would invest some initial time into planning. Why? Because without planning, you are destined for failure. The house will crumble, the kids won't learn, and the concert will definitely not rock. And here's a question that I get a lot. Financial planning is just for the wealthy. And I really need you to keep in mind that financial planning is not just for the very wealthy. And while many financial planners won't accept clients that don't have a certain amount of money, it is important for you at least to plan for yourself, because if you don't plan these small steps, you're not even going to get to that level that you can hire a financial planner. So it is a total chicken or egg came first kind of situation. There's also another thing that we can most agree on is that when it comes to financial planning, if you do nothing, you're going to get nothing. So you got to ask yourself a question. You want to grow your money or you want to grow your excuses? Step number 2 is to calculate your risk tolerance before you do any sort of investment. If you do that, you won't panic all the time and you won't be wondering which direction the market is going to go. You'll have a feeling of safety because you know the strategy that you've developed can tolerate the risk that you have set up for it. And you can do that even if you suck at math. You can just reach for that thing in your pocket, your smartphone. They got a calculator over there. So to calculate your risk tolerance, you first need to reach for your freaking iPhone or Android or whatever and put a bunch of numbers in it and let it calculate it for you. Some of the things you need that I'll send you at the end of this webinar are financial statements and a questionnaire that I'm going to give you at the very end of this webinar, even if you're watching a replay. So there are 2 components to risk tolerance. One is your willingness to take risk, and the other one is your ability to take risk. Once you've got all your financial statements and ratio analysis ready, you're able to measure your risk based on your financial situation. We have prepared a financial risk tolerance questionnaire that you can download and calculate the risk tolerance. And then you get to do some cool things. Again, don't panic here because you don't have to actually do the calculation. It just do it for you. I just want to show it to you. So for example, something called ratio analysis that can be easily done by calculating these simple ratios and making sure that they are within the benchmark based on your age and your phase of life cycle. You want to calculate your emergency fund and your current liquidity, basic housing, broad housing, debt ratio, and net worth ratio. You also need to understand your savings and return on investment. Your risk tolerance also depends on your life cycle. So for example, between the ages 20 to 25, you're probably more growth oriented and you can accept more risk because of the long time horizon. Between ages 45 to 60, you're conservation or protection oriented, less risk seeking. And then above 60 is probably going to be your retirement years. And you're concerned about generating income because you don't want to work anymore. And you're also concerned about protecting what you have. You may even be concerned about gifting to your grandchildren. So after you download the questionnaire, let's say, what if you're unhappy with your risk tolerance? Well, you can cry about it, or you can move on to step number 3, which is budgeting. Here's a quick overview of budgeting. The budgeting process includes these steps. In our Make Your Money Work For You Power course, we have the systems that help you calculate your cash flow very easily and almost automatically without having to do any math. But here's the stuff. You got to establish your goals. You got to know your income. You got to know your expenses. And if your cash flow is positive or negative, you also got to compare your expenses as a percentage of income. And then you get to understand your risk versus return. So that is a very important element of figuring out if you want to get your money to work for you without getting stuck in front of your screen all the time. Expected return is the compound annual rate of return expected from an asset or investment portfolio. It is a function of the riskiness of that investment. So once you've understood your risk tolerance, then you can translate it into a risk measurement. So you can say, hey, I'm conservative or moderate or aggressive. And that is when you can use it to guide your investment choices. The more risk you're able and willing to accept, the more you can invest in riskier assets. And if you have a lower risk tolerance, that's cool too. You can just go and invest in less risky assets. Because at the end of the day, once you've taken these steps only once, then you can sit back and relax and let your strategy do its job, right? You have to make that initial commitment to get things right so that you can go ahead and look like this dude who for some reason is chilling on the beach in his suit. I don't know. I just found him on the internet, whatever works. But all these things that I just covered will help you develop a financial plan, and you only have to do it once. Once you take these steps, you can then sit back, relax, and let your strategy do its job. You do have to monitor it once or twice a year, or if something major happens in your life, for example, if you get married, if you have a child, if you lose your job, if you buy a house, if you receive inheritance. And that brings us to step number 3 of today's second secret, which is growing your wealth without being stuck to a screen all the time. But before we do that, I want to do an exercise with you. I want you to close your eyes and imagine yourself where you're going to be in 5 years' time. I'm serious. Go ahead and close your eyes and imagine yourself on a boat in the middle of the blue ocean with awesome scenery, knowing that while you're relaxing, your portfolio is making you money. Imagine you're spending only 3 hours per month to make your money grow on its own, and it's growing at a 12% rate. What this money could do for you? What would you do with it? How would it change your life? If you're making a 12% to 234% return on a 30 asset or 60 asset or 90 asset portfolio, that is going to be $10,000 or $25,000 or $100,000 growth. This is exactly what happens every time I travel. For example, during this trip to Bora Bora, my portfolio grew by $12,673, which is almost what paid for half of the trip. This trip itself cost me and my husband about 30 grand. We stayed at the St. Regis, and it was phenomenal. This was a private romantic boat tour for the Four Seasons and St. Regis guests, and it took us around the island, served us champagne at sunset, and treated us like royalty, which was really a magical experience. But anyways, you're probably wondering how I got my portfolio to grow on its own without requiring me to be stuck on my screen all the time during my trip. Let's break it down once and for all. So we already covered that you're going to develop a financial plan once and monitor it once a year. Then you're going to develop an online investment strategy once a month and monitor it once a week. That is exactly what I do in my premium investing group. I do it for my own portfolio, monitoring it once a week. And now you might be asking, how do you develop an investment strategy? For that, we need the IDDA point 2 and 3, which are technical and fundamental analysis. And before you get super nervous about this, I want you to remember that most investing millionaires are dumb as a box of rocks. I don't know if you've seen this ad on TV about investing, and it's super cool. So hold on, I'm gonna plug it in over here.
Champagne and models potpourri on my yacht made of Cuban mahogany. Watch this.
And that is absolutely true. So let's get down to business. In a nutshell, technical analysis is the art of identifying the best price to buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. Right? So the trading geeks call these support and resistance levels. You basically create a strategy where your account automatically buys and sells at the prices that you predict ahead of time. And I'm going to pat myself on the shoulder here. I really am a genius in identifying the best buy and sell prices down to the digits, which surprises my premium investing group members over and over again. I had to throw in some bragging over here. So I do that by combining a number of techniques. Here are some of the more generic examples. Because there are so many different ways to identify these buy and sell levels. Some of the most well-known ones you probably know already. There are things like bullish reversal patterns, like head and shoulders. I have these memorable images here to identify them so that you don't have to really look for them. Head and shoulder bottom, triple bottom, and double bottoms. And bearish reversal patterns such as double tops, head and shoulders, triple tops, and these are the way they can memorize them. And then we got continuation patterns such as wedges, rectangles. Some of them look like this, cake. So there are so many easy ways to memorize them. Candlestick patterns like bullish and bearish engulfing and 15 other candlestick patterns that are shared in the Power Course together with the interpretations of these technical analysis techniques can also help you develop your strategy. But the one that I love the most is the Ichimoku plus Fibonacci combination that we'll get into detail in the Power Course because we're really running out of time here. And once we have at least 3 technical analysis methods in different time frames backing our market movement outlook, let's say bullish or bearish or range, then we turn into Ichimoku Secrets. This is my signature strategy, and it works because it helps you get in the market based on your risk tolerance and exit the market based on your financial goals, which really brings the whole IDDA together. Now let's see how all this saves you from being stuck to your screen all day. So let me ask you a question. How much time do you need if you're a day trader? Well, the answer is all day, and sometimes even all night, because you're going to have nightmares about a market crash, right? But how much time do you need with my approach? Well, my simple IDDA approach, you first of all need 10 minutes to develop a strategy per asset. And let's say you have a diversified portfolio of 30 assets, including crypto, forex, and stocks and ETFs. And that adds up to only 1 hour per week. I actually do my personal investment monitoring every week on Tuesdays during a live strategy development webinar that my premium investment group members attend. And if you're already a member, you already have been attending my live webinars where I cover my strategies where the members copy the same strategies. And then I go to sleep and let the markets do their job. And in my case, I have done all the background work in advance, and I don't have to be stuck to my screen all the time, and my money will literally work on its own to grow itself. Now, let me show you how a low-risk portfolio grows based on the IDDA strategy. So I actually did an experiment. My old model was from back when I was reporting from the New York Stock Exchange, and I used to listen to the CNBC and Bloomberg and all the news and media all the time, monitor the markets all the time, which was a bad idea, and I blew up my account. And also, this is what I look like when I'm sick and tired of sticking to my screen all the time. It's not a good look. And then the second experiment was the new model, where I implemented a financial plan. I looked at the big picture. I developed a simple investment strategy based on my simple IDDA approach. And